Hello, friends. I hope you're having a beautiful day. Today, I wanted to talk to you about rosemary, or Rosmarinus officinalis, or more recently named Salvia rosmarinus. So rosemary, you probably have some in your spice cabinet, your herb cabinet, if you cook. And rosemary is a really amazing plant for a variety of different uses. It's great because you can use it internally and externally. It's known as the herb of remembrance. So traditionally, rosemary was used to remember, to center, to calm the mind of chattering thoughts and focus on things that maybe you've forgotten, or to ground into the body. So it's also was used as the herb of remembrance for weddings, for the remembrance of deep love, for funerals, for remembering a loved one that had passed away. So there's lots of tradition around rosemary. It's also been used as a protection herb to ward off evil spirits. I personally call upon God for that purpose, but there is truth to the protection aspects, as this plant is antiviral, it's anti-microbial, it's anti-fungal, so it does ward off negative energies, if you will, or illnesses around your environment, in the body, on surfaces. It was used as a cleaning herb to wash surfaces, to wash doorknobs, to burn, and as you burn the herb, it kills viruses in the atmosphere around you. So it was burned in hospitals, in churches, in residences, to ward off those bad energies of illness. So you can use this herb internally and externally. Externally, for infections, for wounds. It's great as a wash. It's great as a salve. It's wonderful for a hair stimulator, a hair growth stimulator. So you can use the hair oil for stimulating hair growth. You can also use a wash for stimulating your hair growth as well. It's great as a tea, and it does contain a oil called thymol, and thymol is what you smell in rosemary. It's that base note in rosemary, and also in oregano and thyme, and it's that spicy, strong aromatic smell that we just love about these plants. But one thing about putting it onto the body externally is that it can, and internally, in fact, it can be irritating. So definitely, if you're using it externally and it's not in like an oil base, it hasn't been cut, you want to make sure that you're using something like a demulcent, or using it at the very least in moderation to see how your skin is going to react, because it can be irritating. It could cause a rash. Definitely, if you're using it in baths, you want to make sure that you're putting in a smaller amount. A little goes a long way, and you might want to consider putting in demulcents into your bath as well, and also externally if you're using a wash. Add some demulcents like marshmallow root, like slippery elm, into your washes. So also, it's great, as we all know, if you've used rosemary essential oil, it's a really lovely smelling oil. You can put it in your diffuser. You can put a little into your hands and rub your hands together to breathe in that herb of remembrance. So maybe you're preparing for a test, or a speech, or or you've forgotten something, putting a little bit of rosemary into the palm of your hands, or even grabbing a fresh sprig of rosemary and grabbing some of those leaves off of the rosemary and then rubbing those in between your hands, and then taking a big inhale and even longer exhale and just breathing in that beautiful aroma of rosemary can be really helpful for keeping a sharp mind, and to remember what you might have lost. So essential oils are wonderful. They're great. It's great as a steam to really open up the nasal pathways, to break up congestion in the lungs. It's great to open up the pores of the skin. And so steams are wonderful, a wonderful way to call on rosemary. Foot soaks are great, wonderful, soothing, relaxing, grounding, nourishing tools to use for grounding and relaxing the body. As I mentioned earlier, rosemary can be very calming to the nervous system. So soaking in a bath of rosemary or doing a foot soak of rosemary is really wonderful. It also increases the blood flow in the body. So if you're feeling stagnant in the body and or cold in the body, soaking in a bath of rosemary or doing a foot soak of rosemary to get that blood really moving, that vasodilation happening in the body, can be a really helpful tool to know about. Let's see, what else? Rosemary is wonderful as a mouthwash, for an antibacterial mouthwash. Hydrosols are great, again, for wound care, for spraying off surfaces. So really there's a wide range of ways you can call upon the herbal ally of rosemary to support your health and your well-being. I also wanted to just talk quickly about propagating rosemary. It's a wonderful plant to propagate. It's pretty easy to propagate. And so what you want to do, if you want to propagate or create more of rosemary from one plant that you have, you can cut a little sprig of rosemary and cut it about 4 to 5 inches long, and then you're going to strip off most of the leaves. You want to leave some so that photosynthesis can happen. And then you want to cut below the node, because where the node is, I don't know if you can see this. I don't think it's pretty small. I've already cut this, but the node is about right there at the end here, and that's where the roots are going to come out. So there's different ways that you can propagate rosemary. You can stick this piece right in the ground, and you want it to be fairly deep in there. You don't want it to be right up to the green leaf part, but about a ½ inch left of that stem, and most of it's down in the ground. You can stick it right in the soil, or you can dip it in a rooting hormone. There's powdered rooting hormones, there's liquid rooting hormones. I like to use more natural rooting hormones, like willow branches, sticking willow branches in some water, soaking them for a while, and then sticking my plants in that water, because willow has natural rootonin to help that root growth, that root stimulation. So you can use a root stimulator and then stick that in the soil, and it'll grow nice and strong for you pretty quickly. Another way that you can propagate rosemary is by just clipping your rosemary, same way you would for sticking it in rootonin. You can just stick this in water and just wait until there's some nice healthy roots coming out of your rosemary, and then stick that directly into the soil as well. Into a pot might be a good idea at first before you stick this right into the ground. You can stick it right into the soil, but getting it established in a pot can be helpful. So you can also, of course, grow rosemary from seeds or layering or transplanting, breaking up a large clump of rosemary, breaking up those a big clump and creating a couple other plants from that clump. So rosemary is a really great one to grow in your garden for teas, again, for all of those ways that I mentioned before. It's a great herb to have around. At the very least, have some in your medicine cabinet. And let's see, anything else? I think that's about it for today with rosemary. I'll be talking about this more. I'll be sharing how to do a steam distillation for essential oils and hydrosols later, probably in the week. I've got some drying right now. You want to dry your rosemary for 2 to 3 days before you start doing essential oils to get out some of that water. One other thing that I wanted to mention about rosemary that's super important: know the source of your rosemary. If you're going out and you're gathering rosemary, you want to definitely make sure that it has not been sprayed. So often you'll see at businesses, you'll see big rosemary bushes. I wouldn't necessarily recommend gathering at businesses because you just don't know if they've been sprayed. If you've got a friend that maybe has some rosemary growing in their garden, in their yard, that's a good way to know if your rosemary has been sprayed or not. But definitely you want to make sure that you're gathering from a clean source. And that goes with all plants that you're gathering. And so I'll talk about also harvesting techniques in another video, but I hope that you learned a little bit about rosemary, a little more than maybe you knew before. And yes, I will be coming to you with another video about how to do steam distillations later in the week. So have a beautiful day, take care of yourself, and take care of each other.